This is Blender. Let's make a low poly vehicle. I'm going to click on General. I like to hide the light and the camera, and here's my cube right here. So let's start with scaling it. The X can remain 1. Y we will want a 2 in there, and 0.7 for Z. And then let's move it up to the top quadrant, so 2 and a 1 to push it over some. So this is a chunk of the body of the car. Let's give it a wheel well, add mesh cylinder. Right? Now for this cylinder, we're only going to need 10 vertices. That will be plenty. And then we do need to rotate this 90 degrees onto its side. Okay? Let me kind of get it up over here. Make sure you're aware these are the numbers so you can always kind of tell where I am at number-wise. I'm going to shrink this down. That looks too small. Let me zoom in here. Go back to select mode, and let's take a look at the scale. 0.85 maybe. We need a bit bigger. Yeah, that's looking better. And then for Z, we're going to mush it in some for the wheel well. The location, we're close here. Let me see, straight on. We want it centered. Centering should be a 2. Yep, that looks right. And then a 1.6 maybe for Z. For X, yeah, that's enough space there. And 0.45 to push it down. Yep, that looks perfect. So now we're going to want to have a main color for our vehicle, actually. I'm going to click on the vehicle, and I was liking, or thinking, I guess, of a glossy color, and a color I've really been using a lot as of late, and I think it's a good car color. Of course, use whatever you want, is 214FC6 for the hex code here, and then maybe a 0.6 on roughness. And this is a glossy material. I'm going to call this main, okay? And I guess we can, and let's apply it. You do want to apply it to the wheel well as well, because otherwise, well, you'll see. So now with those both applied, I'm going to click on the main body of the car. I'm going to add a modifier, and I'm going to add a Boolean. And the Boolean modifier right here, what it's looking for is intersections, well, a difference. It's a true-false modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the cylinder here, and I'm going to hit apply. It's going to check for wherever they intersect, and where they do, well, you'll see, it's removing that space. Okay. Let me edit undo because we're actually now going to use this as the wheel of our vehicle. So let's go ahead and head back to, well, let's first give it its own color so we can identify it, tire. And then base color, we just want something dark. Maybe 26, 26, 26. 0.0, 0.2 for this. Roughness, we're gonna say 0.4 maybe. And then let's go ahead and I'm just gonna go into edit mode, select all, assign it that, back into object mode. We can delete main. All right, now for the tire, let's start changing up the size. It's going to be very similar, but a bit smaller. I'm going to do, let's see, 0.77 maybe. Roughly 10% smaller is what I'm thinking. That's where 0.77 is coming from. And maybe at 0.37 here. Take a look from the top. We do want it to stick out just a bit. Right? So let's see, location-wise. Let's just make these easy to see. There we go, there we go, there we go. And let's look from the front, and that's perfect. And it's sticking out just a bit, which is exactly what we are wanting. All right, let's go into edit mode now. In edit mode, you want to go face mode and click on this front face. And we will be doing face inset, and I'm going to push in. That's way too much. Let's do 0.25. Yep, that's perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and extrude the region. I'm going to push back. Negative 0.1 is sufficient. Let's create a material now for our hubcap. So I'm headed to materials, new. I'm just going to call it hub. And let's make a shiny material. So for that, I'm going to use a mix shader. And what's going to be involved in my mix shader is going to be a diffuse and then glossy. Now, the roughness here, it's going to be 0.2 for the diffuse. A silver that I really like is 90, 90, 90. And then for glossy, the roughness will be 0. Glossy, the roughness will be 0. I'm switching this to sharp, and the color again will be 90, 90, 90. Enter. And that is looking good. Let's make sure to assign it. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit face inset again to create the hub cap, I guess. 0.4 is awesome. And let me pull this out. Let's do 0.5. Oops, 0.05 maybe. There we are. And let me go to select. I'm now going to select every other one. I'm holding shift so I can select these faces. And I'm going to go now and do mesh and delete faces. And now we have a hubcap. I'm also going to delete the back of the tire. Mesh, delete, face. Perfect. Let's head back into object mode. Let's head back into object mode. I'm going to go ahead and click on the tire first and then the vehicle, because we're going to have them joined, object join. Now with them joined, we're going to set up a mirror to create the other parts of the car. I'm going to notice my 3D cursor is right here. I'm going to set origin to 3D cursor. With that in place, I can now use a modifier, a mirror modifier. Here, boom. That's X, that's Y. And we have a bunch of a car suddenly. Let's now head into edit mode. I'm going to use edge select and just select this edge here and this one. Let's go ahead now and do edge subdivide. Perfect. And now let's make the roof. I need to go into face select. Make sure clipping is on in your mirror modifier. And then I'm going to select this face and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude. 1.6 is perfect for this type of animation. And now let's go ahead and scale it. I'm going to scale it way down to 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. Gives it a really fun look, whimsical. All right, that is awesome. Let's go ahead now and work on the headlights and license plate. To do that, I'm in face select still. I'm clicking on this front face. And then I'm going to go edge and subdivide. And perfect. Two subdivisions is what we need. And now let's select these bottom three for the bumper. I'm going to do mesh, duplicate, and click immediately. So it is there, we just can't see it yet. I'm now going to move it down. Yeah, -0.2 is awesome. And then also, I'm going to pull it out a bit. And 0.1 is great for that. Okay, let's go work on our hubcap now. So I'm our hubcap. Speaking of which, let's give this its color, and it's going to have that shiny color that the hubcap does. All right, now let's work on our headlight. So let me select these two now. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing, mesh, duplicate, and click right away. I'm now going to move them over a bit. And 0.1, just like the bumper, is good. Okay, I'm going to now mush this down some. Yeah, 0.9 should be great. And then actually do it this way as well. .7 I did, and now I'm going to need to move this back out. 0.2 back out. Okay. I'm going to push it down a bit more, and we're good on the headlight. -0.05. That is perfect. So let's go ahead and give this a color too. And new, I'm going to just call this yellow because it will be, well, shockingly yellow. It's going to be an emission color. which, well, emits light. I was looking for a headlight. Let's see, FFF777. And let's assign that. Okay, and now let's work on a license plate. So for this, I'm going to do... For this, I'm just going to do a mesh and duplicate again. Click down right away. I'm going to resize it for the plate. Boop. So yeah, that's fine. 0.7. Now let's do a European style one. 0.6 is great. And then resize it inward. 0.8 is great. Oops, 0.8. Alright, perfect. And then the license plate, I'm just going to give it an off-white color. Boom. And now we have our plate. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on extruding these. So we need, actually let's take front view again. I'm going to select, I'm holding shift, this face, and our bumper. Okay, I'm going to hit X, and now I'm going to go to extrude, and oops, I unclicked, undo, extrude, and then extrude along normals. I'm going to click and pull. And for this, 0.2, let's do 0.15. Nope, 0.2 it is. Okay. And now we want to do select, and we want select more, because now we're going to move all of these forward. And I'm going to move them forward 0.12. I'm going to move them forward 0.1. Great. Now for our license plate, we should extrude it as well, just not as much. So let me go into select mode, grab just the plate, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. There we are, but negative 0.04 maybe, negative 0.02. Just have it stick out a bit for a plate. Perfect. All right. Now let's work on the door handle and the rear view mirrors. So object mode, and I'm going to go ahead and look at some colors here. For the door handle, I'm going to do add mesh cube, and then I'm going to pull this guy out. It's going to be huge. Okay, and that is fine. Let's take a look here. I'm going to shrink it way down. Obviously, it will be a door handle. So I'm not too worried about location right now, but scale-wise, I'm thinking 0.2 will be just fine. 0.2 and 0.06 should be good. Okay, and then location, well, we need it up at the car over. So what was working for me? Let's see, 1.81, I'm thinking 0.5 and 0.47. And actually, before I do the X, let me go back into edit mode. And in edit mode, I'm going to be in face select. I'm going to click on this face, and I'm going to scale it super far down. So 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Great. And head back into object mode towards vehicle. And .81 is looking awesome. Okay, so now we have a door handle. Let's make sure I want it shiny also. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that hub color. Now I'm going to do an object duplicate objects, and I'm going to pull it over here. This is going to turn into our mirror. Okay, let me take a look at the, I can even call it mirror if I want. All right, let's take a look at our numbers here. For the mirror, that's going to be fine. We're definitely going to want this way small because this is going to be the support structure. So 0.02, 0.025 for both of those. I'm going to want to move this up towards the edge here. Let's see, yeah, 1.85 and then 1.9 just to make that even. And 0.66. Let's take a look. That is looking good. Yeah, perfect. All right. So now what we're going to do is head into edit mode. And again, this is just the base of our mirror. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go ahead and extrude. So clicking on extrude and just pulling. And I'm still extrude on normals. And I'm going to extrude this out -0.0. -0.3 is what I was hoping for there. And yep, that looks awesome. And let's actually switch this up to extrude region. Let me pull that up to, yep, 0.03. That is awesome. And then I'm actually going to increase the size of this guy. So the scale increase, I'm thinking actually a full 3 maybe. Let's make sure that's close for comfort. And yeah, let's do a 2 times increase. So now let's go ahead and grab this. Grab this right here. We're going to extrude. And maybe 0.25 for the size of the vehicle. We will want it somewhat large. And then let me click on this side. And again, it's going to be an extrusion and a 0.25. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and head back into object mode. We want to object apply the scale of this because we're about to inset the mirror portion. So now with the scale applied, I can click on, let me first select both faces and then just face inset. I'm going to push in. Okay, make sure if you're having issues, you might need to turn boundary on or off. 0.02 was what I was thinking, which is great. And then let's go ahead and use extrude again and push in on this. And -0.02 is awesome. Let's create kind of a window or a glassy color. I'm going to plus new. I'm just going to call this window. And then for my window, let's see. I was thinking a color 555 C66. And you would want this. Yeah, let's do 0.2. Roughness 0.4. And let's hit assign. And then let's go back into object mode. Let's take a look. This is awesome. Let's go ahead, take a look at my hub here. So this is pretty shiny. It's up to you, but I'm going to turn this down maybe a 0.2 to make it more, to make it match the outside a bit more, the rest of the vehicle. This is great. So these next few steps, we're going to be making a car out of it, but this is also where you could take it and go make a truck and things of that nature. You should definitely check out some of my other tutorials if you're interested in that. With that being said, let's actually add some detailing to our lights here. Half of the light, right? Let's make it actually an emergency light. Let me see if, yeah, we can loop cut. I'm going to loop cut it here, and then I'm going to use face. And I'm just going to select all of this. And then I'm going to go down here. And now I'm just going to add an orange color. Plus, new, orange. And then I want this to be an emission color. The orange I was liking is FFBF44. Alright, and let's assign that. Awesome. That's fun. Alright. Now, heading back into object mode. This is looking awesome. Awesome, and here we have our standard default kind of car. Let's get to making it a limo. First, when I grab this handle here, I'll click on it. I'm going to hold down the shift key. I'm going to click on the car, and then I'm going to join them. Because now it's part of the car and it will be duplicated. with that being done, let's go ahead. We're going to mirror just this part of the car, apply, and we're going to now add the mirror back and have X be mirrored again. Let's add the mirror to the car so it pops up on both sides. So I'm clicking on the mirror, I'm going to hold shift and click on the car. I'm going to do object join, and there we go. It pops up for us. All right. Now let's actually give this a limo-y color. So I'm going to click on material here, and I'm going to go to main. I like blue, but it's not the right choice, I don't think, for a limo. And how dark is that? Is that just, it's almost completely black. So there we are. That is great. And let's now go into edit mode. Let me take a look at the side of our vehicle here. Okay. We're in face select. I'm going to click here. And let's move our handle back. Select more. Otherwise it doesn't get the back of it. And yeah, negative 0.85 should be good for that handle. Okay. And now let's look into stretching out the actual car here. So I'm in X-ray mode. We zoom way out here. I have my select tool, and I'm just going to grab everything here and move. -4 is perfect. Great. So it's already taken shape for us. I'm going to now, though, use my edge tool and click on this edge. I'm holding shift to click on that edge as well. And I'm going to do edge subdivide. And yes, that will work just fine. So I'm going to take this subdivision of an edge. Oop, no, I'm not. Edit, undo. Let me click off everything. Let me now click on my edge here and pull it over here. So I guess I pulled it over exactly 1. Let me zoom in then. And let me go into vertex mode because I want this right up and down. So I'm going to click on this vertex and get it right in line. 0.35 should do it. Awesome. And now let's get to what makes limos a limo, those big windows. So to do this, I'm first going to need to turn off my x-axis mirror, take a look at this side, and I want to select all of this and do mesh and delete faces. Otherwise it will interfere with the creation of our windows. And speaking of windows, you want to make sure to have clipping enabled here. I'm going to click on the front window, and I'm going to click on the back one as well. I'm going to hold shift and select the back window. And what I'll do now is do a face inset and push. Okay, make sure to have boundary off, and 0.1 is great. Okay, and now with that selected, I need to extrude along normals, and I'm going to push. That's way too much. 0.05 is plenty. Right? And then the last step of this is to add the material, which will be the window, which we made when we made the mirror. Guess we can switch over. Ta-da! Okay. And now we need our side ones. So I'm going to hold shift, and just to keep them separate, I'll do these first. Face, inset, and push. 0.1 is looking good. And so I still have extrude along normal selected, so I'm just going to pull, and again 0.05, and our window, assign. Now here, I'm going to go ahead and do face, inset, push in, 0.1 is great, and then I still have it selected, so I'm going to extrude inwards and do 0.05, and window assign, and let's check it out. Boom. And we have a really cool looking ride here. there's a few things you can do. You can always add some flourishes or add chrome trim all around it, make it your own. But I'm quite happy with the traditional limo. I'm going to go into rendering view. Let me click on our light here. Let's go. I'll real quick walk through actually rendering. So sun. Oh wow, mine's a lot bluer than I thought it was. Oh, there it is. There we go. Classic black. All right. Sun. And, well, that's super strong. 5 is great. Maybe a 6 if you want. I'm going to turn off shadows. Let's do 0.6 maybe. Okay, and then I like to take transparent renders because I can use them in games. So I'm making mine transparent. And then let's go ahead and take a look at our camera. Yep, it's in the wrong spot. So view sidebar and view lock camera. And I'm just going to pull my camera around here. And now I'm going to zoom out and move it over. It's kind of up to you how you want to shoot your limo. Cool. Okay, and you also have the option, maybe I'm going to select this and do object duplicate and just move it over some. Alright. And now, who knows, maybe I have a whole lot, so I'm going to select both object duplicate and maybe pull them this way some. Going to get a real fancy render. And maybe there's limo in the back. I'm going to add a new color, new glossy still, but maybe it's a gold limo. Oh, I have no idea what this is gonna look like. Oof, that's not pretty. Not really one with colors. That's getting worse. Okay, that color went limo. So, regardless, yeah, we have that ready, and let's go ahead and render. Boom. Our fancy limo parking lot. Ta-da! I hope you have a fancy limo too. Alright, make sure to like, make sure to hit subscribe. If you're interested in learning how to make a bunch of other cars using this technique, check out my other videos. Also, if you made something super cool, please tell me about it below.